And here we are at the end of this small journey with the three main specific troop communities in Rise of Kingdoms. I released a video about infantry in cooperation with the infantry's fortress, the second video was with the cavalry's stable, and today we have the pleasure to have with us the archer's den, which by the way is not new to this channel. I have made a video with the founder of this community, Hova, a while ago. Unfortunately, our dear friend Hova is not playing Rise of Kingdoms anymore, but I am still in contact with him. He's well and says hi to the community. His beloved community is now led by other Super Archer fans starving for kills, so we are in good hands, don't you worry. Special thanks for the making of this video go to Frosty, Pyro, Gala, Milk and Maverick. Without further ado, let's get into it. Hey gamers, welcome back to the channel. Let's speak archers today. Third time I make this disclaimer, at this point it shouldn't be necessary, but not everyone has watched the other two videos before this one. You can skip about 20-30 seconds or so to the next chapter if you'd like. Using one single troop type in open field is not optimal under many points of view. First of all, you will be required to train using many more speed-ups comparing to other players, since you need just that specific troop for your marches, instead of taking advantage of the natural day training of the other troops, which will have little to no use for you, other than reinforcing maybe garrisons and rallies. Second, yes, the archer meta is much more ready for a mono-type setup compared to cavalry, for example, but still not as ready as differentiating the type of commanders you bring on the field to get the maximum synergy out of your setup. The full archer setup as well as the cavalry and the infantry ones are just speculations for the sake of brainstorming with the communities. But before we address that, we will speak about the top 5 archer marches in general, rating them basing on different factors, from the bottom going up. Let's proceed. In position number 5, we find the good old Ramses and YSG. This is a march that I am personally using to this day. This combo is tanky and has a high amount of DPS, or damage per second. One of the negative sides is its speed. It is a bit slow. Free-to-play can absolutely use this march because anyway every account should max YSG to begin with, and then, as I suggested in my Commander investment guide, once you unlock Ramses with the Wheel of Fortune, you can use him starting from 5511 or better 5551. An alternative to Ramses and YSG is Cyrus and YSG. Cyrus is another Wheel of Fortune commander. First step of our ranking in position number 5, Ramses or Cyrus and YSG. Number 4, we have Cyrus and Ramses or Gilgamesh. This march of course is more single target oriented, but has different advantages for archer players. It is quite tanky, has good speed, a lot of debuffs, skill damage is very high and has a little bit of anti-swarm technology added to the equation. It is a very well-rounded march and also the only field march featuring the new archer commander Gilgamesh. Yes, I know you guys are waiting for the video with Gilgamesh testings, but unfortunately I have been too busy to organize testing sessions and I'm working on the videos at night. Eventually I will release that, or at least show you the reports you need on my Discord. The link to join my Discord is down below, just discord.gg/weekgaming. A special mention in position number 4 goes to Gilgamesh and Nebu. The first step of our podium, bronze medal and position number 3. We got another good old school march, Artemisia and Tomiris. Artemisia's self-silence consents to Tomiris to fully stack the poison and in a better way compared to how she did that with Edward. Come on please, don't use Edward. The archers then agrees with that, unless you are in the early KVKs. Artemisia and Tomiris has good AoE, nice tankiness, speed is not really a thing, but at least you got defensive skills and some counter-attack damage as well, if Tomiris is expertised. The best part of this march is the support that you give to both your other marches and to your allies by stacking that poison on the top of the head of the enemy commanders, which is also a powerful way to identify your targets if you are not in a vocal chat. Silver medal for position number 2 goes to Amanitor and Artemisia. We have spoken a long time about this march. Feel free to check all of my video material on her. The synergy between the two commanders is just great. It's a bit slow, but very tanky, and mostly the biggest point in favor of this march is the fact that it's the single best counter to Guan Yu. Amanitor is immune to silence and will just wreck all the Guans on her way. Maybe in a metagame without Guan Yu, this march will not be a number 2, but considering that almost every player will invest on Guan Yu sooner or later, being him a top commander, having to counter to that becomes quite necessary, don't you think? So, position number 2, Amanitor and Artemisia. Finally, at the top of the list in position number 1, we have Nebuchadnezzar and YSG. Nebu and YSG is a very special combo. It has the biggest AoE capability of any March in Rise of Kingdoms, a double 5 target damage, comprehensive of a circular AoE. It has some speed, rage restoration, and really I don't see any downside in using this March on the field. When this March is well equipped, it will be one of your best killing machines. On a side note, notice how all of my videos are coming to a focal point, the choice of your field marches, which you can find summarized in this video card up on the top. There I suggest to use 2 archer marches in the open field setup, at least in the top one, and they are the 2 top archer marches from this very list I made with the archers then. Okay, now a quick recap for who skipped to this part directly. In position number 5 we find Ramses and YSG, with Cyrus and YSG as alternative. In position number 4 we have Cyrus and Ramses or Gilgamesh, with a special mention to Gilgamesh and Nebu. Bronze medal goes to Artemisia and Tomiris, silver medal to Amanitor and Artemisia, and in position number 1 with the gold medal we have Nebu and YSG. Let's now finally address which are the archer marches to potentially use in a full archer setup. According to our internal discussions and ratings, we think this setup right here is very convincing. Feel free also to comment down below with your personal preferences and alternatives. We have Cyrus and Ramses, Artemisia and Tomiris, Amanitor and YSG, Gilgamesh and Nebu, Trajan and Aethelflaed or Mulan. We think this setup to be somehow balanced and much more ready, for example, compared to a mono cavalry setup. We had to include a support march like for the cavalry setup, Trajan and Aethelflaed, because we couldn't just throw in there commanders like Edward and El Cid. It would be very bad. Let's now mention a few alternative pairings. If you want to adopt other solutions, we have the best ones listed here for you. Ramses and Nebu, Ramses and Tomiris, Artemisia and YSG, Artemisia and Ramses, Artemisia and El Cid, Edward and Tomiris, just for early KVKs. Please don't use Edward in Season of Conquest like I said before. If you want to use epic commanders to fill up your marches, I strongly suggest you use Kusunoki and Hermann. Using any of those marches will still give you decent results. Like for the other 2 videos, we have now the pleasure to have with us a representative of the Archers Den, Maverick from Kingdom 365. He will answer the question on behalf of the team who worked together with me to make this video possible. I have already mentioned their names, but I'll do it one more time. Frosty from K254, Milk from K770, Pyro from K20 and 307, and Gala from K327. Maverick, welcome to the channel and thanks for the time you are dedicating to our community.
Thanks, Wick. I'm glad to be here. It's been a pleasure all along.
Alright then, let's proceed with the first question, that is, which are the benefits of using a full archer setup in open field?
Well, you've got 1 passive and 2 active advantages here. Not only do archers have the highest number of open field commanders, but also when you're using a 5-match archer setup, it also means you have all special units in your marches, maximum buffs from skin and civilization without worrying about balancing debuffs. The first active one being you've got a lot of damage, unique debuffs, you melt marches, save time, and you clear field fast. Second one being the known fact that threats on field are high priority targets, which makes all archers, all your marches, high priority targets, no doubt about that. You have the possibility of dazzling your opponents upon which match to go for first, but even then, you're guaranteed the damage dealer is always left alone. So it works that way perfectly. And the versatility in pairings also helps when you are adjusting to different play styles and different situations, all that. I think that's my answer for the first question.
Okay, and in regard to this, which is the suggested civilization for an archer player using at least 2 or 3 archer marches in open field?
Well, definitely Ultraman, I think. No doubt about that. It's just everything you need.
Yeah, I do think Ottoman is great because you have the Janissary, which has the highest base health among all archer troops, and also you have the 5% march speed, you have the 5% skill damage. Yeah, I don't think there is any other options. Do you?
No, no, definitely Ottoman.
Do you think that the archer meta, together with the infantry meta, are more ready compared to the cavalry meta?
Yes, yes, I do think so. I mean, meta at this stage of the game, to me, and I think to the rest of our team, is more of the qualities that these peers or commanders have rather than individual levels. Yeah. So, and currently, the balance of dealing high damage and not being totally defenseless, ability to resist a bit of swarm when needed, providing time managing debuffs, and a lot of AoE value is what rules the field meta right now. And Ashes, they're doing great at it.
They're for sure doing great. I spoke in this video about Nebu and YSG being the biggest AoE dealer in the entire game because we have a double 5 target damage, one of them being a circular one from YSG, and I think that's great. That's why we put Nebu and YSG as our top archer pair in 2021, at least so far. We have many free-to-play and low spenders who follow this channel. One of my priorities has always been, together with the breakdown of the game mechanics for experienced players, to give them investment suggestions. This type of video is for them probably just speculation because they cannot afford to max out all of these commanders. Therefore, my question for you, Maverick, is which is the direction that free-to-play players should follow if they wanted to invest in archer commanders?
Well, you see, I'd like to start from one point you made, which is that it is quite expensive to max out all these commanders. Our share commanders, among the rest, they require expertise the most. Most of them. The problem here is, well, not exactly a problem, but it depends on how many sculptures these free to play players are willing to actually invest in the Asher path. I always say one thing though, to invest in peers, not commanders. That don't work on an individual level, work on something that will work for you as a pair. And I'll suggest to not follow the meta. Fundamentally, I'll just say start after your YSG, get a pair for it, the one that fits your play style, like Nebu YSG, Artemisia YSG or Ramses YSG. But I'll just say Nebu YSG, Amani Artemisia, Cyrus Ramses, in that order, and then so on and so on.
Yeah, I think your suggestion is great. Um, Depending on how many sculptures you are willing to invest in a certain path, I think Nebu is a solid choice because, of course, Nebu YSG is probably the strongest archer march in the open field as of now. But free-to-play players can also consider, for example, in my opinion, to invest in commanders like Ramses, because Ramses can be used starting from 5511 or better 5551, and that does not require a full commander investment. But if you're thinking long term, I think, like you said, maybe Nebu is a better choice. Finally, Maverick, a personal question for you. Which is your favorite archer combo?
Cyrus Ramses is my answer for that. I really like the match. It's the closest thing to a complete archer match, in my opinion. I single target damage. Sometimes it compensates for the lack of AoE damage.
All right, Maverick, I want to thank you for the time you've dedicated to us today. And I want to also, before closing the video up, to give a shout out to the Archers Den. If you want to discuss archers with people who love archers and invest all of their energies in maxing out their archer commanders, I highly suggest you join their community. You will find the link in the description of this video. Thank you for being here, and I will see you on the next one. Ciao.